Okay.
Okay,
Hello.
now there shouldn't be errors. I'm gonna
There.
hope. You know what? I'm just gonna hope. And
We're just gonna hope.
if an error comes up once we are live, then someone will hopefully say something before it's too late. Okay. Anyway, let's try this again. Hi everyone. Welcome to the second episode of our AMA series through the Battlerite Discord, Battlerite subreddit Discord. This is going about as smoothly as I was hoping it would go. Surprisingly, last week went smoother. Normally, the second try is supposed to go better than the first try, but apparently that is
your wires.
not the
You got
case.
the mischievous one
Yeah.
chewing up your servers.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to blame you, I guess, on this.
It was me. I love the way the wires taste.
Yeah, I'm jealous that you can do that with your voice. I wish I could make my voice sound different than my voice, but I cannot.
I say anybody can, but it just takes a really, really long time. I should preface this with I've done this for okay. We're I know we're getting to the thing, but
that's okay.
I've done this for like almost 7 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So really just time and practice. But continue the thing. Don't let my nonsense cut you off.
I forget what I was gonna say. Oh, right. It was something about us having an AMA here or something. Yeah.
Oh, there's an AMA. Wait,
right,
here?
Right. Yeah.
Wait.
I think this is the place that I.
Oh, there's an AMA here. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is where I was supposed to go today. For this next hour. Who knows? Okay, so
who knows?
So I apologize for any of you who are on the other end of this because because you have to deal with this. But
welcome to the AMA. We are sorry, ladies.
Yeah. Gianni's taking over, so that's good. I'll be the guest this week because then I don't have to worry about this. Yeah. It looks like my mic is being better. Maybe. I hope.
Okay.
And if not, I'll just talk over your echo, so this way the echo and the white noise in the background are just canceled out.
If we both never stop talking, they can't notice there's an audio issue. Listen, I told you, go back to plan A where we crank the music over the sounds of our voices. You can't go wrong.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm gonna forget it. All right. So anyway, hi Gianni. Who are you, and why should people ask you a question?
So I am Gianni Matragrano. I'm a voice actor, which you may have heard about if you're watching this AMA.
Really?
And I voice in Battlerite currently Esmo, hello, and Thorn. And those are my two characters as of this time. That is why the people here might want to ask me a question.
Yeah, and people have asked you questions, so
they have some questions. I've been told there have been questions.
There are questions, and I, a lot of these things it wouldn't even have occurred to me to ask you, which is why it's so great to have people asking you these questions because I'm unoriginal and can't think of anything clever. But thankfully for the
people are here to help us through.
Exactly. I don't have to think of something clever because everyone's gonna do that for me. I'm just here to say words that they've said already, and you're the one being clever. I just have to repeat what people have said, and you get to carry.
It's like Ash said in Ash vs. Evil Dead, shoot first, think never.
Oh yes, Ash from League of Legends.
Yeah, that character is what I was.
Okay. Anyway, so our first question, really cutting this, very very smoothly. I'm just gonna. So our first question is by Esteban0507, and he wants to know, how did you get into voice acting?
All right, so it was a long time ago. I was like 16, working my first job, and coworkers and family and friends, they always kept saying, "Oh, you've got the radio voice, do a voice thing." And so I was like, "That's stupid, but maybe I'll do it." And then, after enough time and hearing it for like a year, what I did, and you're gonna be like confused by how stupid and simple a lot of my answers are, because that's me, stupid and simple. I literally just like took my it was like a PlayStation 3 headset that like it was like a cheapo headset I used to play on PlayStation 3. I think at the time I was playing Mag, if anybody remembers that game. And I took it and I just recorded me doing the this is kind of a niche pull, but the Undead Nightmare DLC narration from Red Dead Redemption for the multiplayer of the Undead Nightmare DLC, because I thought the voice lines from that were really cool. And I published it to Newgrounds. I uploaded it to Newgrounds, and I was like, there, I did a voice thing. And then like literally like one or two people were like, hey man, cool voice. And by the way, I sounded really bad. Like if you ever go back to this, it was really bad. I'm kind of amazed that I didn't get what we would call on Newgrounds blamed, which is where your content is deemed so bad it's completely annihilated from the website. But nonetheless, it stayed up, and people said, "Hey, that's kind of cool." And then I just kind of uploaded a couple more things, and started looking online for people who needed voice actors and in really really low tier projects. And most of those things I recorded for never came out, and which is probably good because there's less evidence of how bad I was when I started. And I really just took it from there. I don't have like the fancy background of I went to this school for 14 years and then I did a backflip in front of Steve Bloom. Like I don't have all that fancy stuff. I literally just jumped in and just started doing whatever like low tier stuff I could find, just to give myself experience, and recorded a bunch of my own stuff for fun. And all I did was just jump in, and what I always say, just jump in and start swinging. You don't, I like to say this a lot, but you don't need to be Mr. Moneybags or Mr. Huge background training to jump into it. I jumped in with, at the time, a cheap headset. I ended up upgrading to a Blue Yeti, which some of you may be familiar with. It's a USB headset that costs like around $100. And I did a lot of projects from that for a longer period of time than you might think. So you don't have to like spend huge cash. And I just jumped in and had a lot of fun with it and did as many projects as I could. And that's pretty much all I've kept doing for 7 years now. And that's pretty much it. Like I just jumped in, and just looked for stuff. And this question always goes to, well, where do you look for stuff to jump into? And for me now, Newgrounds actually, and I'm going to keep saying Newgrounds because I'm from Newgrounds,
Right.
and G for life.
That's okay.
Newgrounds has a voice actor forum, and if you go on there, you can find a lot of auditions posted for people who need stuff in their projects. There's also the Voice Acting Alliance and the Voice Acting Club. I think one of those doesn't exist anymore, but I can't remember which one it is.
Both.
And those are like forums where auditions are posted for all kinds of projects. Sometimes it's like machinima stuff, or original animated or parody animated, or sometimes it's literally just audio plays. And you can jump into those auditions and start trying, and in auditioning alone you'll get a bunch of experience and practice. Not so much progress, that's debatable, but personal progress. Your XP bar will fill up.
Of course, that's all that matters.
As you go through those, you'll get experience. And a lot of those projects also probably won't come out, but you just keep doing stuff and jumping in and having fun and enjoying it and experimenting with your voice and learning what you can do and can't do and expanding what you can do. And I don't know, just jump in and start swinging. That's it. That's all I got.
That was a very good answer. I thought you were just gonna be like, oh well, someone said do a voice and you were like, this is my voice, and they were like, great. So
this is the one question I'm prepared to answer because I've gotten it probably a whole 7 times now in my life, which is a lot for me.
So now you're experienced at this. So technically, this is cheating.
I'm basically a pro.
I shouldn't have asked you this because you already had prepared for this question. So if anything, this should have been the one question I didn't ask, because it's no fun when you know what to say.
Yeah, it's only fun if I have gaffes.
Yeah. So that's like interesting because Newgrounds comes up a lot when you're talking, or when people are talking about where they started, and like a lot of the YouTube scene that is around.
Dude, look, I go off about this all the time, but like Newgrounds is like, it's the bomb. Like their structure is like so creator friendly, and they're doing everything they can. And so many of the people that you know and love, a lot of people these days might not know this, but they're from Newgrounds.
Yeah.
Like I know of Antfish, Anthony Sardina, aka Ashka,
Mm-hmm.
from Newgrounds. I don't know if that's where he originated, but for me, that's where he originated.
Right.
Kira Buckland. I mean, goes
Right.
all the way back to many of you, I would hope, have watched Metal Gear Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
She was in that, Rena-chan. And so it goes back to a lot of that stuff. And,
It is always crazy though, because like all like someone like a YouTuber or just whoever, like an artist or something, will be like, oh yeah, I started on Newgrounds and that's where I met
yeah,
all
it's
these
true.
people who are now
Yeah,
famous. And it's like, oh, maybe I
yeah, it's
should
wild.
go on Newgrounds.
But it's, I mean, don't get me wrong, if Newgrounds isn't your thing or whatever, you can still jump in and start swinging, as I always say. But Newgrounds is for me really where it's at.
And I think the most important thing to remember is that not every like you said, just keep going at it, and then eventually something will happen, because not everyone just kind of on their first project gets to work for like Nintendo or something.
No, yeah, no. I mean, I guess rare off cases happen where
Yeah.
people super early in jump into like huge deals,
Mm-hmm.
but for me, it's so about, you need to love it. You need to really enjoy the aspect of doing it, because you're going to be doing a lot of it without getting anything back. I've pretty much all of that early stuff I did was completely unpaid. And I just kept doing it because I really enjoyed it. And not all the projects are gonna get you big exposure or whatever. So it's really important that you love it, because also a lot of the stuff that you record is never going to see daylight. Like a lot of auditions that you don't get aren't going to see daylight. A lot of projects that I recorded like for years for
Mm-hmm.
will never see daylight, but it was practice, and
That
I love it.
that's like the craziest thing too, because someone, I forget who I was listening to or something, was actually talking about this. They were, I guess, like, hey, can I use like your likeness for a game or whatever? And it's like, yeah, sure, because that 9 out of 10 times that game's never gonna come to fruition, and that's so sad to think about. But at the same time, it's
Yeah.
like, wow, because like all the work that goes into all these games and everything, and they
Oh yeah.
never come out, and it's just really like crazy. And then like I guess I never thought about the other end, or the other part of that, which is also the voice acting that has to be done. And I guess that's
Oh yeah.
why you are here.
Voice actors, for the most part, I want to say the majority of a voice actor's work doesn't ever see the light of day. Purely, those numbers are, well, I don't have a statistic for you, but the numbers are probably like hugely skewed because of all the auditions that you
Hmm.
do. You have to constantly be auditioning for like as much as you can. Um, and pretty much like a lot of that stuff you're not going to get. It doesn't mean that, like, I always look at it like this. It's not like, oh, everybody else is better than you if you only get 1 in 25 auditions or whatever, but like the creators felt like, for like nuanced creative reasons, that other guy was like more on model for what their character was. And
Right.
you just got to keep swinging at it. But because of all those auditions, yeah, a lot of your work is never going to see the light of day. But sorry, I'm rambling. We probably should work on the other question.
Yeah, it's okay. We just only have time for the first question. That's fine.
Yeah, yeah. Only one question, everybody.
Sorry.
Changing the rules of the AMA.
Yeah, sorry everyone else. Only Esteban gets his question answered today, but
Yeah, he
that's
was
fine.
the chosen one.
That's fine. You answered like bits and pieces of other questions too.
Yeah, I need to slow down.
Like for example, the next question by the Death Crafter, he wants to know, like, as a kid, did you dream of voice acting? And I guess you kind of answer that with the whole how you got into it.
Oh, I'd love to answer that. So here's what's wild. As a kid, I dreamed of making video games.
Who didn't?
And as I got into like teenage years, I was like, man, this isn't my deal, because it's so many hours and hours just like, sitting. Well, okay, there's more to it than this, I'm sure, but it's like, it's well, as a kid, your idea of what it takes to make a thing is like so much simpler, where I was like, yeah, it's magic, and you just wield magic and a video game comes together. Like, your idea is all screwed up. But when I was a kid, I was like, I want to make video games. And then as I got older, I was like, I don't know if the actual like experience of putting that together is my thing. And so I ended up kind of losing touch with that in a sense, which is why it's so wild to me because now as a voice actor, it kind of comes back around, and now I get to still be a part of the game making process. Like that passion for video games never went away. I still
Right.
always loved video games.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, maybe I'm not gonna make the video games. But now I'm like still a part of the creation as a voice actor.
Right. Yeah, that's
Um,
pretty cool too.
and that's so awesome. So as a kid, no, I didn't dream of voice acting. But you know what's funny? And I can say this because these files have all been burned. You'll never find them. But when I was young, I did make little claymation uploads to YouTube in the olden days of YouTube, and little stop motion animation videos.
Mm-hmm.
They were. I mean, they were what you would expect from a kid, from a child. But I would do voice acting in them, and uh, I enjoyed that part of it. So I guess that was always kind of present, but I didn't really think about it too much until I started getting into it in my later teenage years.
Yeah, that's true. And like everyone, I think when they're a kid, not saying that you're not special, is like, man, I want
I'm
to.
not special.
Uh, wants to make
Yeah.
everyone wants to make video games when they get older, or be like, oh, I want to be a professional gamer or part of like a gaming company, or be an artist, or. But I feel like a lot
Yeah.
of kids, or even young adults forget how much work exactly that is, because you kind of only ever see the end product, and there's not
Yeah.
like you're making music. Like musicians are in, I guess it's kind of similar to voice acting in some ways, where it's like they're in the studio like constantly,
Yeah.
reworking and trying to get the right sound and everything. And it's a lot of work going into all that planning and everything. Art, just every field that you don't necessarily see the result, you don't see the working process. There's a lot of work behind it, and as a kid, you don't really understand that. It's just like, hell yeah, I want to make this video game. I imagine perfectly how it will be, and it will be like that next week.
Yes, it'll take a week total tops.
Hmm. Right.
Yeah, but never give up on, like, if there's a thing that you're super into and you're super passionate about, you never have to be like, oh, well, I guess doing the thing I thought I was gonna do is too much for me, so I'll give up that thing entirely.
Hmm.
Like, as you learn more about the thing and learn more about yourself and go through life, you might find that you end up tied back into that thing, like in my case, I
Right.
guess. I mean, everybody will tell you don't just give up your passions. I always love the old Jim Carrey wisdom of don't just accept doing something you don't like to give yourself a life, because honestly you could fail at doing the thing you don't like anyway, and I always thought that held really true.
Oh yes, Jim Carrey. Uh, so Love Sheep, in chat is asking something that I'm curious about also, because as I would imagine, I think it would be a lot of fun, but they want to know, do you have a preference to play the character that you like have voice acted, and like does it add an extra layer to the experience?
Oh,
Is it
like play
weird,
the
or like
game.
yeah, like do you play
Oh,
Esmo or Thorn and go like what the hell?
so I'm gonna say this. I started with playing Esmo and Thorn
Hmm.
when I first started playing Battlerite. I do play Battlerite. And it doesn't it's weird at first, but Esmo and Thorn isn't the at first for me, because I feel like when you when you play as the character you voice, it like it feels the same as whenever I'm watching back an animation that I'm in or something like that. So like that aspect of being exposed to my own voice and how it performs in the final product or whatever, that's something that like I kind of already got used to the sensation of like a long time ago. And then when it comes to video games strictly, I've also been in some other game experiences where I could play it and then the voice lines would trigger and I'd be like, oh, that me. Um, and so it doesn't it's not weird after you start, well, for me, I don't know, but maybe other voice actors are different, but for me it's not weird as you like get used to it. It takes a pretty short time to get used to it, but at first it's not weird, but like it's like there is an aspect of cringe to it where you're like, that could have been better.
Yeah.
That's but then like it stops giving you that awful like that sharp sensation up your entire soul.
Hmm.
And then you just start listening to it and you still have those thoughts like, yeah, that could be better or whatever, but you also appreciate how it performs in the environment, for what's good about it as well. So it's not like really bad. To answer the question, do you have a preference to play the character you voice acted? um, I wouldn't say I do. I kind of like playing as all of them because all the characters are pretty cool. And the characters that I like to play the most so far,
Hmm.
um, haven't. It's not specifically the ones that I voice act. For example, actually, and I know there's a later question that kind of asks this, but screw it. Um, I suck as Esmo. I love playing as him because
Hmm.
he's super fun, but I suck at him. So I got him to level. I'm trying to level all my champs to level 10.
Hmm.
And so I got Esmo to like level 10 or something, and then I was like, okay. And then I picked up Thorn, and Thorn I super love playing as.
Right.
Thorn is like, I love everything about playing as Thorn because you super feel like that spooky tree man. You feel like that horrible monster of the
Yeah.
woods when you're like chasing people down in
He's
space under, and
he
you're like going after him. It's like oh, I'm the spooky tree man. It's awesome.
yeah. If you don't mind, like I just want to like say this like real quick. Like Thorn, SLS did such a good job designing Thorn to fit like
Yeah,
what he looks like, and
yeah.
he plays like a plant.
Yeah,
It's
that
like
too. The plant and the wood aspect really fits into it.
he
But
plays like a an actual like living plant. Like the way he kind of has like a slow like dominant presence, I guess, when you're
yeah,
playing him. And
yeah, I like that description. That's cool. Yeah.
mhm.
Um, it to answer the question, does it add an extra layer to the experience? Not really. No. The only thing that it does add is when I'm like playing and I'm like getting into it and the voice lines are triggering. I'm like when you're kind of in the moment and you're like enjoying the game or whatever. I'm like, yeah, that's like it kind of adds a new way to appreciate the voice line when you're actually playing through it yourself as a player.
Mhm.
That's what we all love about gaming is that interactivity and how it changes the experience. And so when you're actually going through it yourself, it does add a new way to appreciate it. Yeah, but like it doesn't improve my gameplay or anything. I guess I still suck at the game.
You don't power up when you pick Thorn.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't go into super thorn mode or anything.
That's okay. It happens sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't.
Hmm.
Okay, so the next question is by a 32-bit gamer who wants to know what are some tips you could give for a beginner looking to get into voice acting. And you kind of answered this already with the
Yeah,
Newgrounds thing, but I don't know if you want
I
to
got ahead of
elaborate more on
myself.
that.
Yeah, I got way ahead of myself and provided most of that answer.
Yep,
But
and
yeah,
most
like I
of the other
said,
answers.
yeah, I'm sorry. I screwed it up.
It's okay.
But to try to answer that specifically to you, you know, like I said, you just get okay from my perspective. Get a mic, jump in on those forums that have those auditions, and start having fun. You can record some of your own stuff. Record a little voice demo for yourself because some auditions say, "Hey, just send in a voice demo."
Hmm.
They don't really want you to do the proper audition. So sure, have a little voice demo uploaded somewhere that you can link them to, and record your own stuff for fun and keep experimenting and keep getting used to it. Odds are at first you suck. Probably. I mean, not everybody. I sucked at first, like really, really bad, but maybe you're good. I don't know. But if you first start, you're probably not that great, and maybe you won't get most of those parts, but you're getting practice. And, look up those online tips and, YouTube videos on how to get into voice acting. I know Rice Pirate, what's his actual name? Mick something. I only know it was Rice Pirate off Newgrounds, but he has like a cool little getting into voice acting series that gives you a couple of tips about just starting up. And like you can watch some of those and just critically think about your lines and how you're delivering them and how they sound. And one thing that I'll say that everyone will say that's really good advice is if there's local theater, or maybe if you're young in your high school as a drama thing, I don't know how that goes, but get into that because theater experience is like, in my opinion, like the theater's intense, man. Like theater's like the ultimate acting to me. Like if you're in theater, I'm completely blown away. And if you can jump in on some theater stuff, even just exposure to theater, or what I did was I started volunteering for a local theater, and I didn't even be in any of the plays or anything. I was just helping put together the sets, and I
Hmm.
was bad at that too. I was like, yeah, measurements are hard. I don't know how to cut this wood, but I can paint this whole wall black. I can make the whole wall black. And they were like, awesome, do that. And so I got some exposure to the theater and watching the plays and, the actors and spending time with them. And then I also took a couple of little like minor theater courses over at my college. And appreciation from a theater standpoint for acting will really help you understand acting itself a lot better.
Hmm.
And so that's me. That's my experience. I'm sure some other voice actors might tell you, there's like a voice acting course that you can get in on, or da da da. I don't know anything about that. But for me personally, jump in and have fun. If you can jump into some theater, that'd be cool too. But ultimately, for me, it was just jump in and see what I can get into. That's all I
Yeah,
got.
that's good. um, So the next question is by I lost track. Oops.
Hello.
Is by excitable. Yeah, of course, by that guy. And he would like to know which character would you have loved to be the voice of, but weren't. And before you answer that, I totally agree with the whole theater thing because I one of my good friends is like into theater and that's what he does like 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and it's like I don't know how you do that.
That guy's way cooler than I am. You should be talking to him.
He's a maniac. I don't know how he does it. And he's like the lead. He plays like significant parts, and I just how do you do that? I can't even memorize. I can't even ask these questions in the right order.
Yeah, theater blows me away.
It really
But it's
does.
so fun and it's so cool.
Mhm.
I'm sitting here talking it up like theater is the god king you will never defeat. But like it's super fun. Like once you get in on it, you'll have a great time and you can totally learn and get into it. But theater rocks.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so do you want me to repeat the question or
The question is, which character would you have loved to be the voice of before?
yes?
And I'll answer this. Oh, wait. I see breaking news. Love Sheep says,
Oh, there you go.
"I
I
can
fixed
barely
it. I
hear
fixed
him."
it.
Okay,
I
it's
got it.
fixed. You're too quick for me. I can't even read it before you're done fixing it. Holy crap!
I
What a
fixed
wizard.
it.
So which character would you love to be the voice of but weren't? So first I want to say that I would not take away a single performance in this game, even by replacing it with my own. Everybody in this cast, like oh my god, these people are so like. I've said this a number of times, and I probably should stop saying it because it probably makes me look like way lamer and way less professional. But like, I look at this whole cast, and I'm like, oh my god, look at all of this like amazing talent. What the hell am I doing here alongside these like deities of voice acting? They're really incredible. So I wouldn't take away a single performance. I love all of them. But I'm gonna answer that question. I'm not gonna cop out. I would have to say that I thought voicing Rook would be really fun. I think Rook just seems like a really fun voice or a really fun character to get into. I mean, Takahata Curtis? Takahata, anyway, delivers really well on Rook, so it's not like I could even hold a candle to him. But I always thought Rook's nature was just like really fun to voice. Just sit there and be all like, Rook smash! And all that fun stuff that Takahata does with the character. And then also Pestilus, I thought was really cool. Voiced by Omadon. Edwin Tiong is his real name. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong.
That's okay.
But you probably know him as Omadon or Ramadan. And Pestilus is really cool because when I first saw Pestilus, I actually thought of, and maybe this is too much of a pull, but I thought of Duke, Baron from Dune, which I know is kind of obscure, but I thought of that character and like the like regal, sinister, but like fat, disgusting piece of garbage. I thought that was really cool. So I'd love to be
You'd love to be that guy.
Yeah, that's me. That's me in a nutshell, really. But what those actors did with those characters is like absolutely perfect. So it's not like sorry, I've been misleading you. The real answer is Pearl. I'd like to voice Pearl, and I'd like to voice her like this. Hello, fishy, fishy.
That would be I'll have to talk to SLS about that, and I think you definitely should also, because I wouldn't be disappointed if that was how it went. Okay, so next question by the Covenant. You said you've already spoken to him a little bit, so he doesn't deserve to get the full. We'll just skip him. No, what he wants to know is, could you give us some insight as to how voice actors are chosen, as well as the process of recording?
Yeah, this is the only interesting. Okay, wait, no, that's not true. This is like the only like real informational part that you're probably gonna get out of this, because so here's what I'll tell you, and it's not that informational, but basically, I don't work with SLS at all.
Right.
In fact, I literally have only talked to them on 2 occasions. And one of them was when I was streaming Battlerite on the free to play launch, and they stopped into my chat, and I was like, "Oh my god, you're my hero!" And then the other one was when I was preparing to do this AMA, and I wanted to check with the marketing
Mhm.
guy. I think his name is Johan. I don't
Right.
know.
Right.
And I was like, hey, can I do this? And is there anything I specifically shouldn't say? And he was like, nah, you're all good to go. And I was like, sweet. And that's pretty
Say
much all of
everything.
my interaction with SLS, because what I work with is Sound Cadence Studios.
Mhm.
And specifically for me, Amber Lee Connors, who you might remember as the voice of Jade. And so she is the one that and I think like all of the voice actors work through to be a part of Battlerite. So what happens is, the audition goes out, and you do your little recording, and they're like, I just want to I want to say this about that whole process. A lot of auditions are like really specific. Battlerite is so like, be extremely creative. Like anything you want to do or try, like they just say go nuts, try it all, do whatever you'd like.
Hmm.
And then she handles, like the casting, and I think she talks to Stunlock Studios too to figure out like who they want to cast and who they like. I think she checks with them. I don't know the full details on how that works in terms of their interaction. That might be something to check with Amber Lee Connors on if you're considering other guests for the AMA. She's like I said, she's like the head of it. So if you want to imagine, I like to envision it like this: Esmo and Thorn as like little greaser tough boys who are like bodyguards or whatever, and then Jade in like a really nice business suit, just keeping them in line. But they kind of work for her. It's kind of like that because she also does the directing, and so I do the audition, I send it out, and I get a message back, and it says, "Congrats, you are the guy."
Mhm.
And then we do the whole session, and in the session, Amber was the one directing me. At least I don't know if the other characters are different, but I'm pretty sure she does all of them.
Hmm.
And we do the recording, and I send it. I send the file to Amber with Sound Cadence Studios, and she takes it from there and goes through Stunlock Studios. And the rest of it's kind of a mystery to me, but that's my end of it. I really work with Sound Cadence, and it's always a pleasure. I've had the honor of working with Sound Cadence Studios for a while now, I guess. And they're always just such a blast. They're really cool. Amber's awesome. Amber's great to work with, and they're so like encouraging of absolute creativity. And like the Stunlock Studios approach is so like they'll give you a rough idea of what
Mhm.
they were thinking, but you can just go nuts and do whatever you like, and they're super cool with it.
That
Which I think has lent itself to why their characters are so fun.
Yeah, that's pretty rad. I had no idea personally at all anything about like voice acting other than you are the voice. So it's interesting to
It's I
get the.
walked into I kicked in the door over at Stunlock Studios, and I said, "Hey,"
I am
and
the
they were
voice.
like, and they were like, "Hey," and then bam, we just did the session, knocked it out in like 30 minutes, and it was yeah, that's how it went.
All right. All right. Next question then. So Jack Talk, he would like to know: are there any characters? A little similar to the other question. Are there any characters that you wish you had voiced, even if you respect the job the current voice actors did on it? And the second part of the question was more the interesting part, I guess, that you haven't answered yet, which would be: did you make up any of the lines that made it into the game, or was it all SLS?
Oh yeah. So I try not to spend too much time just screwing around whenever we're doing sessions,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm like, all right, Gianni, come on, man. Like you're here to like do a job, maybe you should like do the job instead of just like memeing it up in the session for like the whole time frame that you're supposed to spend.
Mm-hmm.
So like do your job. But you know, sometimes I screw around a little bit. So what they do is, they have their lines, and they're like, these are the lines, and this is a rough idea of how we kind of want them to sound. Um, I think I'm kind of answering. I think I'm getting ahead of myself with another question.
That's okay.
Uh, but yeah, okay, I'll answer the rest of that in another question that's coming up. But so you do the lines, and I do what they want, and then sometimes I'll just kind of like say a thing as like a joke. And it turns out that those have made it in, which was very surprising to me. So we were doing lines for, I think it was kills, getting
Mm-hmm.
kills as Thorn, and I was like, Amber, check this out. Wait, I got one. Hooked on hydroponics. And she was
Yeah.
like, that's hilarious. And I was like, that's so stupid. Let's keep doing the job. And that's in the game.
Yep.
That was
It
that's
is.
in the game. And then another example of this that I absolutely love is also a Thorn one, where on the file that I was looking at for the script for Thorn, one of his character select lines is "I'm friend," but on the paper there was a winky face at the end of the line. Somebody put that winky face there, so I just thought it was kind of hilarious. So I was like, "I'm friend, winky face."
Oh, that's right.
And everyone was like, "Huh, that's funny." And I was like, "That's so stupid." Anyway, back to the job. And then this happened on stream. I didn't know that was in the game, so I was doing my little free-to-play launch stream or whatever, and I absolutely lost it because I selected him and he said that, and I was like, "What is that doing in the game?" Oh man. So I guess I am kind of to blame a little bit for some of that joke stuff. For memeing it up, yeah.
That's wow.
But they also like to properly answer the question. If I were to be like, what about this line, or what about, like, I could for funsies throw in some stuff here and there, and they're pretty welcoming to considering it or whatever. But for the most part, they do the writing. They say, all right, here's what we need, and then I get that, and then we do that. But yeah, sometimes there's fun stuff.
So a quick aside. So the whole like sticks out line, did they ever explain to you why that was there?
I knew.
Okay.
Because as soon as like I started hearing about Battlerite, I was like, I gotta check into this. And then I was looking for Battlerite videos to help me better understand what I was looking at with Battlerite, and I came across the one and only 2 lanes, and that video where he introduced to all of us the glorious #SticksOut.
Yes, of course.
And so I knew all about that. Actually, I was like, so I want to say I'm super honored to be in Battlerite at all. As Esmo and Thorn, and just to even be a part of the project is like so amazing because all the talent's so good and I love the game so much. But when it came to Thorn, I was like, oh man, I didn't just see another character. I was like, this is Thorn. This is the Thorn.
Right, the guy.
This is like the legend, and the meme, most importantly.
Right.
And so I saw that and I was like, oh, there's no way I'm gonna get to be like Thorn. They'll cast somebody. Everybody, I literally said, you guys should cast somebody like way more popular, that way people are less likely to give a lot of backlash for the voice, because Thorn's Thorn's kind of a big deal, and if you cast somebody popular, they're really less likely to hate him. But I got cast, and so when I heard that I was cast as Thorn, I was like, oh my god, I'm the Thorn. And so I already knew about Sticks Out. Sticks Out was, I'll say this, Sticks Out was a part of the script I was given. And it was I cracked up for like 3 minutes before I even was able to record, because I wasn't expecting to see that in the script.
Wow. I'm really see, because what I was expecting was for you to say, oh yeah, I knew about that, I added that. I
added that. Yeah, no, I know it seems like the kind of stupid garbage that I would make up, but no, SLS is pretty tuned in, and they know about your memes, ladies and gentlemen, and they put it in.
I'm really happy. I'm gonna it's pretty funny.
Hello, Tech Stomper, I love you too.
Yeah, Tech Stomper is here to save the day.
Yeah, he's here.
So the next question is by USR, so I guess user bits, and they'd like to know, well, first of all, why can't user bits spell his name correctly, and secondly,
I thought you were gonna say that the next question is from USSR bits, and I was like, no. A new currency has arrived, ladies and gentlemen. Give up on Bitcoin.
Yeah, no longer Bitcoin.
All right,
it's now Russia's taken over.
Do the thing. Do the job.
Okay. Yes. So Were there other voices, speech patterns, or quirks you tried or liked before deciding on the current ones for Esmo/Thorn?
Uh, yes. So for each of those characters, I tried a couple different approaches. Thorn didn't vary too much.
Mm-hmm.
Thorn was, I tried one that was more slow and
Mm-hmm.
whispery and very like, ominous and just slow. I like the word slow. Let's just say slow.
Yes.
And then I tried another one that was a little bit more, up and maybe a little bit more wrathful. And a little bit higher energy. We kind of ended up doing a little bit of both because they weren't that much different from the first place, to be honest. I kind of both of them were pretty close. So what we did was Thorn's kind of. I'm gonna answer this in another question, but okay, I'll just briefly say the thing I was gonna say, which is Thorn's kind of his. You don't. How do I say this? You have to be careful because Thorn is that spooky tree man, and so you want to live up to that,
Right.
but you don't want the lines to be too monotonous. So you have to mix it up a little bit. And so we did that for Thorn. I'll get more into that later.
Right.
But
That's.
then Esmo, I love this. I don't know if I'm supposed to reveal everything I'm supposed to
Oh.
reveal about Esmo, but I'm gonna get into that.
Oh no.
Because it's probably fine.
Don't get me in
It's
trouble.
probably fine. No, I'll get me in trouble. Don't worry.
Oh, okay, okay. Then go for it. I don't care.
But when I was first given Esmo, when I was first shown him to even try out to be Esmo,
Mhm.
he was. I think this is fun information. He was codenamed not Stormcaller. I bet you thought I was gonna say Stormcaller.
No, that would
He
ruin
was.
all the hype because people are saying, "Oh, Stormcaller's coming now." With
Yeah, that's true. They're saying that.
Mhm.
By the way, I said that's true. I don't mean I'm confirming that
Oh,
Stormcaller's coming. I have no idea.
guys, you
I mean
heard it
that's true.
here.
I mean it's true that they're saying that. That's not. That wasn't. I
Stormcaller's
don't know.
coming. That's it.
I don't know anything about. Please no.
You're done, Gianni. That's it. Get out
I'm
of here.
done. No, please. But it's true that they're talking about that. But no, Esmo's code name wasn't Stormcaller in my files that I was given to try out for him. It was Gremlin. All the characters have these like really like kind of generic like code names when they're sent out to us. And so I when I got him, it was Gremlin, and his audition project file said that it was kind of a tribute to, maybe you guessed it, an homage to Gollum, because he does have a voice line where he says, "My precious," when he dies.
Yes.
And so he was kind of a Gollum kind of guy, and so the thing said, "Hey, he's a Gollum kind of guy," and I was like, "Ah, crap." Like, because the more I listened to Gollum, I was like, that guy's voice. Like, everybody thinks they have a pocket Gollum impression, but
Right.
the more I really listened to Gollum, the more I was like, man, that guy kind of had like his own thing going on.
Yeah.
Like, you can't really match that, and I suck at trying to match that. So I did. To answer the question for Esmo, some of the earlier ones, or not earlier, some of the other things that I sent alongside what you guys ended up hearing in the final was more creature, like that kind of Gollum, creature, Andy Serkis stuff. And so I tried to go with that, but then I also said, well, I'm not really great at that. So let me try to do my own sort of thing. And that's what they ended up going with for Esmo, more or less, that was the voice type that they ended up wanting to run more with for the actual character, which is pretty. Again, I always credit that because Stunlock's openness to creativity and trying your own thing. So they said, "Hey, this is kind of a Gollum kind of guy or whatever," and I was like, "Okay." So I tried kind of like three. I think I tried like three levels of Gollum to Esmo, I guess you could call it, if you're familiar with both of those characters. So there was one that was like kind of like full Gollum. And then there was one that was kind of a midway between Esmo and Gollum, and then there's the Esmo that you know today. I guess
Right.
you can kind of look at it like that. And they ended up going with the Esmo that you know today,
Right. And
which is really cool.
right. And do they like? They obviously put like filters and stuff on. Well, something I was actually surprised about watching the video that they put out like a few months ago that had all the little snippets from people doing voices, including you, was that a lot of you guys actually sound pretty similar to the voice that's in the game. Like they're not that filtered, but I mean, obviously there's like a little bit of tweaking.
I like I'm still desperately hoping to become a character in Battlerite that doesn't see any filter at all. Because yeah, it is kind of tragic that I can't truly sound like Esmo or Thorn because they do have a lot of filters they go through. Well, not a lot,
Mm-hmm.
not too much, but some filter that they go through. Like Esmo is a higher pitch in the actual game versus
Right.
what I provide. And Thorn is a lower pitch, and they
Mm-hmm.
also add this really cool like branchy sound effect
Yeah,
every
yeah.
time they talk.
That's basically what I was talking about. Yeah.
And so they add that. But yeah, more or less, yeah, everybody's pretty on point. I'd love to voice a character that is doesn't have any filter whatsoever. That'd be awesome because then I could
Like
be like,
Pearl.
yeah, I just yeah, I'd like the voice Pearl.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I'm really getting at here.
Yes.
But yeah, they don't try to hide the voice acting talent via tons of filters or anything like that. They really do take
Mm-hmm.
full advantage of the talent they're using,
Right. Yeah. I
which is
think
great.
the filters that they use are like to, because obviously a fair amount of the champions in the game aren't humans, so
Yes.
they need like Varesh obviously is like a spirit guy, so he should sound more spirity than humany. So it's
Actually,
understandable.
insider knowledge, Varesh is just a guy in a costume. I'm kidding.
Hmm. Oh yeah, and that's right. Pro ZD also is a voice. That's what surprised me most about like seeing all you voice actor people was that Pro ZD
Yeah,
who
Pro
voices
ZD's
Sirius.
in there. Yeah,
I
he's
was like, what?
serious.
What the hell?
Yeah, Anime Crimes Division is there, like, let there be light, or whatever
Yeah,
Sirius sounds
and
like.
like once like I saw him doing the voice, and I was like, that's why I recognized that voice because I played a
Yeah,
lot of Sirius when I first got the game, and I was like,
yeah,
I
Sirius
recognized
sound.
this voice, and then it's like, oh, that's why.
Yeah. He's the man behind it every single time you press space and then Q. That's how you're supposed to play Sirius, right? That's what I've been
Mm,
reading.
of course, Space Q. Yes, that's been
Yeah,
the
space
topic
Q.
of the day. Yeah, his name actually, like Esmo's name was Gremlin or uh and yeah, Sirius's was Space Q.
Space Q. Yeah. Uh, Thorn. I want to mention this while I'm talking about the Gremlin thing. Thorn was always Thorn.
Yes. Okay.
He was never not Thorn. Nowhere in any file that I was given for anything was Thorn anything but Thorn. I just want to be very clear about that.
SLS knew what they were doing.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to keep rambling for like a minute, then I promise we're going to blow through like 20 questions in 5
Oh
minutes.
yeah,
It'll be great.
we got 10 minutes to do the next 10 questions. Let's go.
But Thorn is here's how I see it. I'm Esmo. I voice Esmo. Esmo is, my character. I am Thorn's voice actor. He is his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I exist as what I refer to as the Thorn bearer. There will come a time when my time is over and he is done with me, and then he will pick up the next, person to hold the mantle of Thorn bearer, and then it will be on them. But for now, I am the one who has the voice of Thorn. It is my gift, my blessing, but it also is also my curse. I am bound to voice Thorn. I cannot not voice Thorn. I'm his until my time is up. So Thorn really, he's his own thing. He doesn't need me at all. I'm just kind of there. I wear the curse of having to voice Thorn.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy it, of course, but it's not something that I choose.
Right.
Until I'm expired. And then Esmo's just the character that voice. But Thorn's his own thing. He's beyond me. He's beyond any voice actor. I am just the Thorn bearer for this period of time.
Mm-hmm. So it didn't even occur to me that you aren't the first person to voice Thorn. Thorn.
Good old Thorn.
I'm a Thorn main, by the way.
Thorn main. Hashtag Thorn main.
I've got Thorn level 20, so I can't believe I said that. Anyway, next question. We got 8 minutes. 8 minutes for 10 questions. So speed run this real quick.
We're good. Hey, I don't care if we go a little over. You might, but I don't.
No, I've got to go to class. Otherwise, I would have been fine. I mean,
that's all good. Whatever we don't get.
If anything, I'm so sorry.
I'll answer anything after after the stream or whatever. It's all good.
Get out of here, Ivan. No one asked you to talk.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
But I mean, like, we could always do like a part 2 or something, some other day, or Ivan. I think what you were gonna say is you could you were gonna take over.
I mean,
yeah,
I can honestly take over. Sorry, I so apologize. I was at work right now. I just
No, it's all
rushed
good,
back
man.
home.
But also the
I just
problem
rushed back home. So
is that
Nah, be safe. Don't
I
even worry about it.
am streaming it on my stream, so I don't know how you would be able to take over. But anyway, get out of here, Ivan, for now.
okay,
or at least mute
I'll just
yourself.
shut the fuck up.
Yeah. All right, and now we're getting demonetized. Thanks. Hey guys,
we were never
Ivan here.
monetized, lads. The system was rigged against us before we even started.
Evan here, just popping in real quick to demonetize you guys.
Listen, man. Like I said, if I'm in your thing, it's already demonetized. They already got me flagged with every single one of those YouTube codes you heard about.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So next question. Bye. What a disaster this is. Next question. It's ending like it began. Next question is by Mr. Headhopper, and he wants to know, how do you feel about taking the game in a direction like Dota 2 with characters having a few unique lines for each character they interact with?
I can answer this really simply, and I've gotten this question a few times where it's like, oh man, don't you think there should be more voice acting in the game? That is you you can't like ask that to a voice actor who's in the game, because like every voice actor I know wants to work more, and we're paid for what we do.
Right. So of course you want more.
Battlerite. So like, is it like, hello voice actor, would you like the money? And it's like, let me think about it. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'd like to do more voice acting for this video game. So like, I can't provide a genuine answer because I'm so extremely biased by the fact that I, do this as like a job. So of course I'd love to do more voice acting for the game. And anytime you ever ask me, hey, should there be more voice acting in the game in any capacity, I'm gonna say, hell yeah, I'd love to do more voice acting for the game. But yeah, I won't cop out of the question, even though, like I said, my opinion's completely invalid by my bias. I would love for it to have more, unique lines for the characters you interact with, or any of that fun, unique stuff. Or like, I'll answer some of the other questions that might have come up. Equipable voice lines, or emotes, or anything you want to get in there that includes more of the voice acting. I'd be super down for that. I'd love that. I'd love to do more time with Esmo and Thorn, or any other champ who I get lucky enough to voice.
And I would also love. I think everyone, overall, the only person losing out here is SLS because they have to pay for more people to talk. But no. But I think everyone.
I'll say this much. SLS, and you guys know this, SLS is proven to be super in tune with their player base.
So you're saying, are you also confirming now that we're getting more voice lines?
No,
you are.
I'm not. I literally, I'd love to be able to sit here and tease or whatever, but I don't know like anything about like what their future plans are.
Right.
But I think they've demonstrated pretty well that they are in touch with their player base, and I'd have to guess that, this is purely speculation. I really mean it. This is actually just speculation.
Yes.
But if people are on the forums and they're saying, hey, we want more voice acting, we want more voice acting, we want more voice acting, announcer packs or whatever, SLS is looking at that and they're going, maybe we should do more voice acting.
Right.
It's not like it's completely off the radar. I'm sure it's something they're at least considering and figuring out when or how or if and that kind of thing. I'm not confirming anything. I really mean that. I have no idea.
Definitely just confirmed that. So
I am, you heard it here first, folks. Battlerite will now feature every champion voiced by Gianni Matragrano, including and especially Pearl and Blossom, especially Blossom.
Okay.
So look forward to that. Look forward to being able to buy the DLC that lets me voice Blossom. Please look forward to that.
All right. So we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 8 questions left, right? And 3 minutes left. So what I would like, maybe what we could do is like a part 2 perhaps. Some other day, maybe this weekend or something.
It's whatever you'd like. If you want, because I kind of feel bad that my rambling is like putting a whole nother workday onto you.
That's fine.
If you want, what I can do is you had the other guy, Avin, right?
Yep.
Oh, this is gonna be so needlessly convoluted. I could stream that with him asking the rest of the questions, and then just send you the file, and then you could upload that.
Interesting.
Unless I'm assuming he doesn't have his own streaming thing, but I could just get into a call with him and he can ask some questions, and we can go from there, and take it that way. That way, I don't have to put a whole other workday onto you.
I personally don't really mind either way. What we can do is I don't know. It's I would like to continue, obviously, but don't have time.
Yeah, you got a jet.
Right, but okay. What we'll do, I'll ask you. There's questions 13 through 15 are basically all the same, so I'll just ask them all kind of at once ish. And okay, so they're all like Thorn or Esmo questions, so you can just say Esmo or Thorn, and then maybe we can come back to that one day.
Okay.
So the first question is, who do you enjoy playing more, Esmo or Thorn?
That's such a mean question to ask. But I would say that so I actually teased at this earlier. I love Thorn. I love voicing Thorn. But Thorn is a little bit trickier because you want to live up to that spooky tree man thing where he is like a force of nature. He is the woods evil, kind of like his thing. Thorn's kind of his own thing, and so it's a little bit more difficult in a sense to voice Thorn, because you want to get enough variation in there so that it's not all the same monotone, like, oh, Thorn's just talking about some BS again, who cares? You want it to sound kind of interesting to listen to Thorn. So you don't want to always sound the exact same, even though his personality calls for it a little bit. So it's a little bit more tricky with voicing Thorn, whereas Esmo, I can do almost anything I want because he is the mischievous. So I can kind of go creatively any voice acting direction I want to with Esmo. And his character is kind of ready to express all different. Esmo's so many things because Esmo can be creepy, Esmo can be evil, and for me, Esmo can be really cute. And so you can do a lot with Esmo and kind of go creatively in so many different directions, and Esmo fully embraces it. I don't want to cop out of this answer, but I really enjoy voicing both of them for different reasons. That's my real answer, and it's a cop out answer. But because I want to satisfy the asker, I'll say Esmo. Yeah, I'll say Esmo.
Well, people are gonna hate you now. Okay.
Yeah, I hate it. I'm hated.
So next question, which one was harder to voice, Esmo or Thorn?
Oh crap! Whoops, I confused the questions and it kind of answered that one already.
That's okay.
Yeah, so like I was saying, Thorn's a little bit trickier to voice because I have to serve the character and kind of stay on model while still mixing it up enough so that it doesn't all sound like the same monotone garbage. Where Esmo is ready for any kind of creative direction I want to take it. Thorn, don't get me wrong, I can still get really creative within what Thorn does, but it's not the full expanse that is what Esmo can reach out to.
Okay. So, all right, look, you're just gonna have to answer these questions, buddy. We're not. Yeah. We're at the point where Alistair, whatever. We'll just finish this. So, the next question is by. Oh, I forgot to say those questions were by, but it's in Twitch chat. So
it's in there. You'll find it, people.
The next question is by Tricolo, who wants to know: is it Esmo or the book that speaks? Because
I saw this question.
Good job, Esmo question. All right, good.
Yeah. So. Rather. Esmo, like I said earlier, is kind of a Gollum reference, so he does a lot of talking in third person. So to my knowledge, unless SLS like pulls like a huge swerve on me, to my knowledge, it's actually Esmo that speaks. I don't know if the book canonically speaks, and if it does, I have not heard its voice. As far as I know, I voice Esmo, and the book is his Precious. So that's pretty much all I got for that.
Okay. Next question is by Vulpin PL, who wants to know how many times have you had to repeat the lines you've voiced? Many.
In the actual
Next.
recording session, yeah, not too many. Not as
Oh.
many as you might think. Where we have like, you want to get, there's like a few approximately takes for each line where you provide like a basic level of variation, so that SLS can pick from, you know, whatever sounds they like. And then sometimes we also do some of our own stuff, where we say, well, okay, so, well, here's how I do it. I don't know about everybody else, but what I do is, okay, so they want these, like, let's say 3 or 4 variations where it's like this, and then it's like this, and then it's like this. I like to go, okay, well, I'll provide that, and then what if it was like this? Like, just kind of go all over with it and have a couple of iterations that are, you know, just for funsies to provide some like real difference, and really kind of get creative with the lines as well. And they're also super open to that. The real answer is more than I had to, because I love to overthink things. But you know, they're super open to creativity. So again, it's not like I can say every voice actor does X amount of takes, because depending on the line, it needs more, or it doesn't need as more, or it doesn't need more. It varies a bit, but not too many. Not too many.
Okay. So I think we're gonna wrap this section off. I don't know if you wanna. There was like 1 or 2 more questions. I don't know if you wanna go stream and then you can answer those questions there or with Avin, or you can just answer them text or however you want to do that, because Avin also has the questions. So yeah, but make sure to thank you for joining me. I would definitely be down to do a second part if anyone is interested. I feel bad that we had to rush these last few questions because it was definitely enjoyable. So thank you. Make sure you follow Gianni on his Twitter and Twitch. They're there. If you'd like to be notified when we're...
It's not great. You really don't have to, ladies and gentlemen.
You do. Quiet you.
I'm gonna anti-plug myself. You know, man, it's not really good. You don't
follow him. Do it. You have to follow him now. I'm gonna go follow you on both right now. You follow him if you like dog pictures.
Yeah, that's true.
And you know, follow me on Twitch if you want to get notified about when we're going live for next week. Who I believe we're gonna have Bloom, who's a competitive player on that one team, Overconfident in North America, who's currently the best. But yeah, thank you for joining me. Thank you guys all for watching it.
Thanks for having me. It was really quite an honor. It was a lot of fun. I think it's really an honor that you guys think that, you know, I'm like, to be asked questions is an honor, and I appreciate it.
To answer question
yeah.
Anyway, this has been a disaster.
Yeah, that's what I like.
Yeah, thanks. I'll see you guys next week or something. I wish I could have kept this going, but no. Oh well. If you want to continue talking to Gianni, you can go to the Discord. The link is down in the bottom left of the screen. Go there.
For whatever.
He'll be here, I guess, talking maybe.
Yes.
And also in the text channel answering questions or whatever you and Ivan decide to do. But thank you guys for joining me. I'll see you guys next week for our 3rd episode. And no, I will not show off my genitals on stream. That is the last question I'll be answering.
I thought this was a waste of time. I came here for nothing.
Whoops. Okay, we're done now.